been a few weeks now since the Lions. You've probably been able to reflect a little bit on it. From your perspective, how do you feel it went?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, now we've sort of been away from it for 5 weeks and reflected on it and had some time away. I think it's something I'm very proud of. I'm glad I'm obviously really glad I went on it. Met some great guys and players that I've played with who I'd probably never have the chance to play with again. And I've been at Edinburgh my whole career, so it was really nice and refreshing to play with sort of players from other countries and from other nationalities. I think that was great to and yeah, it was nice to get a test cap. It was disappointing the last few weeks for the team and personally, not being able to win the series. But overall, I think it was a great experience. I think boys who'd been on previous tours maybe found it a bit different and probably would say it wasn't as enjoyable as previous tours. But I think for a lot of the boys on their first Lions tour, still found it an amazing experience and still had a great time.
So you were talking about bringing the sort of all the home nations together, and a lot of rugby fans fascinated by the dynamics of people who've spent 4 years effectively beating the shit out of each other, and then being put in a situation where you have to be best friends in a really short amount of time. Did you get a lot of social engineering, or how did you find it?
I think as anyone knows who's part of any sort of rugby club at any level, you sort of shove 37 blokes with similar interests into an environment. You're going to get on with most of the boys there, I think, and I think that's the way the Lions works. You're all there for one reason, to come together and try and win a test series. And I think actually you'd be surprised how well people do get on, because like I say, rugby, it's a simple sport at the end of the day, and I think the blokes who play it we're all pretty similar in some respects. So I think we after a few quiet nights, I think you all get to know each other, and it was like you say, it is a bit weird the first time you come to say hello, and you've got a perception of someone in your head who he might be a bit of a arse on the field, but
like who?
But when you actually meet all these boys, it's funny. I think I was surprised how well I got on with everyone, and I was in Edinburgh yesterday for the first time, and boys were looking, for gossip, like who did you not like, who do you not get on well with? And to be honest, it's really, I've got no juicy gossip on it. I actually got on well with all the guys there, and I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but I did. I thought everyone was great, and it was a good laugh.
Hang on, there must, okay, you touched upon it, and this isn't a slight on them, right? Because what we're saying, there must be somebody, as you mentioned, that you thought previously was a massive knob on the field, but they actually end up being completely different off the field. So essentially, the end result is the result that they'll be very happy to hear about, because it's a perception that we don't know necessarily as outside of the rugby player fan circle type thing. There must be a good example.
Mish, use me as your example. Mish.
Yeah, I hate Will.
Me.
Whenever I play against
hates me on the rugby field.
But
we are best friends off it.
I'm quite serious on the rugby field as well, so I don't like anyone on the rugby field really. So I'm always quite serious, and then
serious.
I'm serious when Wilson tries to grab my balls. I think anyone would be, but like,
what?
I'm
well, that was, the lights are off. It doesn't count, mate. It's fine.
But no, I think for me, like I don't have too much crack with anyone on the field, and then it was nice when, I mean, let's be honest, I know Faz looks like a very serious bloke, doesn't he, off the field, and on the field, and people on the field from other teams, they may not be his number one fan, but actually off it and getting to know him, especially in the last week when he wasn't playing in the test series and stuff like that. He's it was really refreshing, good lad, and had some beers with him, and it was
Owen Farrell. It was Owen Farrell, right? Just that's it. It was Owen Farrell.
That's all you need, Ryan. Just a nice beer at some point. We'll set that up. He'll be your best mate. Hamish will set it up. It's fine.
Yeah, I think a few boys would have a beer with Wilkes, and their perceptions would either change or they'd be fighting by the end of the night.
No doubt. So first impressions, out of all the Lions boys, just give me like the sort of the guy you were most impressed by as a professional, and then sort of the weirdest dude, but in like a good way. I
got asked that today as well. One of the boys, he was the biggest weirdo, and I don't know that most professional. You know what I said? I said he's a serious bloke, and it probably, you know, when you do see someone like the way Owen Farrell works on the field, and when he's fully switched on, he's pretty professional. I think the difference with the Lions, I think, from going from Scotland camps and Edinburgh camps is how switched on just everyone is during training. I think it's like the most professional environment in a way, and then the least professional in other ways. And I think when everyone's training, it's a short session, it's an hour long, but everyone is, you know, zoned in. I think that's the big difference between international club stuff and then going to Lions camp. It's very switched on, but then as soon as you're finished, it's you know, it's a very relaxed environment as well. So I'd say everyone's pretty dialed in when they need to be on it. The biggest weirdo, I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't know.
Nice way, like a way.
Come on, Mish.
I'm not here to dish out gossip.
Yes, you are.
That's exactly why I'm here.
Podcast, man. What do you think it is?
You know what? I don't know whether people know him, but Johnny Hill. You meet him. Yes. He's the most chilled out guy you'll ever meet. Did a few interviews with him, talking about like tea bags, and tea is his favorite thing in the world and stuff like that. And I think he might come over a bit weird. And I had a lot of nights out with him, and meaning just obviously not drinking, but just nights out.
Obviously not.
He's actually such a top boy, and yeah, I think he's a great lad, but also very funny and different in ways as well.
I had another question. Duhan van der Merwe in the gym, talk to me. He's the Ivan Drago.
Yeah, you know what? It's probably not what you want to hear, because I hear you love hitting the gym. He's one of those guys who's probably just naturally very good in the gym.
Just straight freak show.
But he his gym. If you watched him in the gym, you'd be very disappointed. He has the inclusion cuffs on and is doing a 30 kilo single leg raise and stuff like that. He doesn't actually it's all more rehab stuff, but he still does a lot of arms. And
Max, on the flip side, Mish loves the gym. Absolutely loves the gym.
Are you a tin addict, are you?
He's got some big arms on him. Nearly as big as my name, Mish.
Like Wilkes. Wilkes loves it as well. But I know I'm stronger than Wilkes, put it that way, in the gym.
Hamish, what did you guys do to like switch off from the rugby? You know, what was happening kind of in the hotel, and what was the kind of leisure activity that you guys most like to do?
Yeah, like I said, it was funny because the most professional environment at times, and then other times you're sort of the best pub team in the world. But it was weird. Yeah, you got to switch off in that respect after games, and that was probably where a lot of the bonding with your other teammates went on. But apart from that, you know, a lot of cards, as we were in a bubble, so we couldn't really go out and do much. But when we went to the second hotel in Cape Town in Arabella, there was like a massive spa, and it was on a golf course as well. So lots of boys went out and hit the golf course, and yeah, Carl Sinclair had all the boys in the steam room in the sauna, which was
that freaks me out when he does that.
Very entertaining. Clothing optional.
Yeah, he's like wrapped in a towel. He's just holding his house. No, we're waiting 20 minutes, boys. 20 minutes.
Wouldn't let any boys leave.
Let's get back in there. We're going.
They'd hit the 20-minute mark.
Just sweating bullets. I'm like, I'm going to die. Let me out. You just want to scrap him.
Yeah, that was very entertaining. But yeah, so boys found ways of getting around the bubble and still having a good time, and yeah, bonding in that way.
Talking about on the pitch, how ruthless were the South African lads? Who was the scariest player when you sort of like somebody you maybe haven't come across and you were like, this guy looks fucking brutal?
I guess I don't know, anyone who's played the game, it's kind of weird that when you're lining up out in the tunnel, they all look massive, and then when you're on the pitch, you don't really think too much about it. If you thought about that when you're my size, I think you'd probably be in the wrong profession. But so when you're on the field, you don't really think about it. I think when we played them in Scotland in 2018, I distinctly remember after the game, it's when you see them in normal clothes wearing their suits again, you come to realization how much bigger they are, and they're actually pretty tall.
Literally, some of them are double the width of me, like double the width. It's not hard, but when you're looking at them, you're thinking, should I be going out there? I'll tell you who you should be scared of, Ches and Colby, because it's the embarrassing ones that you worry about. You don't mind getting run over. But Ches and Colby, when he's stepping in a phone box and you're making it look like an absolute idiot, they're the people you're scared of, ain't they?
Well, yeah, exactly. And as a back rower, you sometimes do get caught on those wide channels. And when you're one-on-one with him, you'd much rather be one-on-one with someone 140 kilos who's going to run straight at you rather than be on the width against Ches and Colby.
Exactly.
Was there anyone, sledging-wise, anyone who was kind of way above everybody else? Bit of a, really giving the chat, giving a lot of shit on the pitch, basically.
Yeah, quite a few people like to give a lot of stick. You can hear, because obviously there was no crowds, even when you're sitting up at the top watching the game, you can hear different people talking. But I remember watching the second test, and we were watching it, all the players obviously together. And I think the loudest person in the stadium watching it up in the stand with me was Bundyaki, just sledging the Sapper boys.
He's relentless. He is. Yeah. I've played against him. He is relentless, mate.
Yeah, so you could hear, and then when he played in the third test as well, you could definitely hear Bundy from up in the stands.
The funny thing about the South African side, they got so shit banter, haven't they? They say stuff like, "Look how small your muscles are." Drop out, mate. Look at your arms; they're so small.
I remember the guy, the second row at Munster, that Snyman boy. Sorry, I'm probably pronounced the name completely wrong.
Hagrid,
the big 7-foot lad. I remember it was a maul, and I joined the maul. He came through and punched me in the face, and I sort of, you sort of try and grab someone's hand to try and think who it is. So I was holding on to his hand to make sure I could get him after the maul. Looked up and saw it was him. He was like 2 foot bigger than me. Anyway, and then so I was like looking at him like, what the F are you doing, sort of thing. And he's like, "What? You don't like getting punched in the face?" And I was like, "No, like what?"
Mate, you should have told me to go back to Hogwarts.
It's the weirdest thing ever. He said, asked me if I didn't get like getting punched in the face.
Hey, mate, did you have a chance to have a beer at all after the series where, perhaps some of the South Africans, you changed your mind about them after everything they're given on the field during the tour to actually being all right lads off it?
To be fair, we didn't really see much of them, because obviously the COVID stuff, and they had outbreaks in their camps and stuff like that. So I mean, boys would chat to a few of the guys they knew after the game, and then after the third test, they came in for a beer, and a few boys swapped jerseys. But we didn't really have much time to see them after the matches, to be honest. It was literally just a short few words to guys you sort of may know. But we didn't have there was no like after match meal, or like normally when you have a function pre-COVID, there was none of that. So we didn't really get to speak to them.